I wrote a letter to Elizabeth Gilbert and it changed my life. Boy, do I have a good story for you. Hi, my name is Stephanie and I teach you what to do with your eyes open to get what you want, heal your body, and live an amazing life. Here's the story. In February 2024 this year, I started a mindset coaching membership group. And I called it the reboot because it says exactly what's on the tin. The idea is that you learn how to reboot your system, change negative thought and behavioral patterns, choose what you actually want to think about, choose how you want to feel, and then start changing your life to look like that. My coach told me that the name I had come up with would necessarily not be the final name. And I said, no, it's perfect. I'm perfect. Nothing needs to change. And of course, I was wrong. As I started communicating with my members inside the group, addressing them as rebooters, I noticed how wrong that name was. See, even the sunshine agrees. And I knew I needed to come up with another name, but I had no idea what that was. So I kind of just let it go. For those of you who don't know anything about me, I'm just going to give you a brief history so that you understand why this is such a good story. In 2010, I started to work on my health very seriously. Back then, I was living in New York for 6 months. I had been given an entrepreneurial scholarship from a wonderful Swedish businessman, and I went to New York. There, I met an Ayurvedic doctor who started changing the way I lived. He put me on a very strict diet. I took a lot of supplements during that time, and I started eating in a new way. Actually, I was on the strictest diet of my life where I ate cooked mung beans, green leafy vegetables, and fresh papaya. That was it. After this, I went on to write a cookbook with free-from recipes. Then I took that book and turned it into a brand. I hired an agency. They came up with a name. I did so much work. I worked with a professional food photographer who is now a good friend of mine, and we took hundreds of pictures of the dishes that I had written the recipes for. This brand was called Helpings, and my idea was to turn it into a worldwide kitchen brand. Then, as you well know, I decided that food wasn't the thing. It wasn't working for me at all. So I put it aside, kept cooking because I love to cook, and I still do it every single day, but realized that that route was not quite the one for me. I went on to start a chocolate company, a vegan chocolate brand made with coconut milk and sweetened with dates. An awesome company, awesome product. And yet that turned into a disaster very quickly. I ended up in a legal battle with my co-founder and we went our separate ways. I took over the company and then I got really, really sick. And that's where you probably know how my story continues. So here we are 6 years later. I've recovered from a long list of symptoms: insomnia, addiction, suicidal thoughts, depression, a long list of chronic diseases, intolerances, you name it, it's all there. And then I come up with the idea that I could actually maybe run a coaching program, which is what people started asking me if I do. And I said, nope, not for me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm gonna build companies, but I'm not a coach. Until I became a coach. Because here's the thing, you don't need a degree to do something that you're really good at. I'm actually really good at coaching and I love doing it. However, That was never my plan. I knew that I was going to do something that would make a difference. I knew that as a 16-year-old, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. And I thought that it was going to be my food company. And then I thought it was going to be my chocolate company. And then I got lost. And then I had to reevaluate things. And they did not go the way I had planned. Not at all. Which brings me to that letter that I wrote to Elizabeth Gilbert. A week ago, I attended her amazing creativity workshop here in London. I went there full of eagerness and excitement, and she did not disappoint. She's just a wonderful teacher, inspirer, author, all the things, human being. She's just incredible. And my excitement after the first day was gigantic. I came home being so inspired. If you don't know anything about Liz Gilbert, she's the author of Eat, Pray, Love and Big Magic, along with a number of other books. And she also does this thing called Letters from Love. So she writes herself a letter from love every morning, and she's created a community online where you can pay a small fee and then join this community and read her letters. And they're called Letters from Love, which is why she calls the people who are in the community lovelets. And as I attended a lunch during that workshop with a group of lovely women from all over the world, I happened to sit opposite a woman who had a piece of paper shaped as a heart pinned to her breast, and it said Lovelet. And I didn't know what that was, so I asked her, and she explained exactly what it was, and she was very proud to sort of wear that as a badge of honor or something that she identified with. And I thought that was a cool idea, and then I kind of just let it go. Later that evening, I came home and really wanted to write this letter to Elizabeth Gilbert. And I wrote her a couple of sticky notes, obviously. And then I wanted to write an actual letter, but I don't have any nice paper at home except for just regular copying paper, apart from the paper, the letterheads that I had printed for my first company exactly 10 years ago. So I took out one of those letterheads that look like this. It says Helpings at the top of the page, which is exactly the name that the agency I worked with 10 years ago came up with for my recipe platform. And as I sat there writing this letter, I stared at that name, this carefully designed logo that we spent months on, thinking about fonts and colors and all sorts of details that matter. Look, the sunshine is with me again, shining its spotlight on things that matter. I just started crying and laughing in the same moment, because what dawned on me was that I had created a brand 10 years ago, putting so much love into it, along with professionals who know what they're doing. But that brand was not what I had intended it to be. It was not going to become a food recipe platform brand or name, or the name for kitchen utensils. Instead, I had created the perfect name for a community of people who want to help themselves and therefore help others and the world to become a better place. Now, that's not the only crazy thing, because one of you asked me if I had any tattoos in a previous video, and I said yes. And that tattoo is this one, which is the logo of Helpings. If you want to see a bigger version of it, it looks like this, because I also printed 1,000 tote bags with it. As you can see, it's the top part of an apron, which sort of signifies that you are a helper, a home cook. But what I didn't realize was that any creative, any person who works in any industry wears an apron. Artists do, doctors do, nurses do, people in the food industry do. All sorts of people wear aprons. I wear them all the time, almost daily when I am in the kitchen, but also when I'm making art, because that's the messiest thing of them all. So what does this have to do with Elizabeth Gilbert? Well, nothing really. She's just an awesome human being. And if she were to see this video, I would just like to say thank you. Because if I hadn't taken out that piece of paper to write her a thank you letter, this idea probably wouldn't have crossed my mind. I'm pretty sure that the universe had been trying to get me this message for a very long time. I mean, think about it. That logo is printed on my hand. People ask me every day what that means. And I say, oh, it was that first company that I created that was a recipe platform, and it means that I'm a helper. And so I created this thing where I feel like I'm doing something for the benefit of the world and making it a better place. And it didn't turn into anything, but I still love the logo and I still love the ethos. So that's what it is. So that's a conversation I have daily with people. I walk around London with my tote bags with the logo printed on it in large letters and still nothing. I just don't make that association until I stare at a piece of paper when I'm writing that letter to Liz Gilbert. The moral of the story is this. Some things in life take way longer than you'd expect them to. Most of us are in such a hurry. We want things to have happened yesterday. We want to have healed 2 days ago. We're not interested in processes that take years. And yet, I wasn't ready for helpings 10 years ago. I was a mess back then. And I had to crash and burn to get to where I am today. I had to become a whole new person to be able to sit here today and do what I do. So my message to you is, don't be discouraged. There's a high probability that you will have to do quite a few things before you get to that thing that feels right to you. But none of that is wasted. I didn't waste any time learning how to cook like a pro and create brands like a ninja, and to ultimately understand on a very deep level how to feel better and how to teach other people to do the same. That's a becoming, that's a process, and it takes however long it takes. You never know what things are going to turn into. But wouldn't it be boring if you knew exactly how they were going to turn out? Helpings as a brand is so much more meaningful to me now that I see the bigger picture and I see the unfolding and the becoming and all the things that I needed to learn along the way to be here today. So keep going. You're not lost. You're just where you are, going from one milestone to the other. You will never arrive. There is no destination. There's a beautiful journey, and it gets better and better and better. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I shall see you in the next video. Much love to you.